Hello, denizens of the internet. I have now finished watching the entirety of Netflix's The Last Airbender live-action series. I gave the pilot episode a somewhat hearty green light, and now here we are at the tail end of this worm to examine its excretions. I have received many comments about now that I have seen the shows, did I regret giving the show my green light? Look, let me explain once again the principle of green lighting a show. There are only two metrics that are important to a network exec. Will it attract an audience, and will it keep it? It has nothing to do with the quality of the show. Quality is a bonus, not a goal, with one qualification. It has to meet the technical production standards of the network. As I said in my initial green light or not video, I thought it was for kids, and my conclusion is that I was correct. It was also tedious and boring. But since the show's Netflix debut on February 22nd, Avatar: The Last Airbender has reigned as the top English TV show with a 41.1 million views in just the first 11 days. The series ranked number 1 in 76 countries. It has been picked up for 2 more seasons. The ratings on Rotten Tomatoes, yes, we all hate the site, but I haven't heard of any rumors of, review bombing because, well, the show's not that controversial. The ratings are reasonable. It has polarized, obviously, many people, especially those who watch the original cartoon. But on aggregate, it's okay. IMDb gave it a 7.3, and here we're getting a 4.1 out of 5. Realistically, as a former network executive, that's a job well done. On to the next project. So to answer the commenter's question, absolutely no regret for greenlighting this because I was right. Just for your reference, if the show was a total bomb, my job as a network exec would be to find someone to blame for being wrong. But getting back to the show itself, because my final thoughts are irrelevant, I will proceed regardless. There is no doubt that the producers put a ton of effort into trying to bring the animated The Last Airbender to the live-action realm. As I mentioned before, I have not seen a single frame from the animated series. But you know what? It's easy to tell that, as is also the case with anime, the live-action versions pale in comparison to the original animated ones. Bleach, Full Metal Alchemist, Dragon Ball, Death Note. I'm fairly certain it must be the same in the case with The Last Airbender. The costuming and makeup were terrible. The prosthetics to make everyone look feudal Japanese clearly hampered the actors. The performances were a mixed bag. The intrepid heroes didn't do it for me. It might have been the writing, but the acting was stiff. The bad guys, even though they were all Asian, sounded like they were doing bad impressions of Emperor Ming the Merciless from the old Flash Gordon series. There were a couple of characters that eschewed that stilted Asian cadence and performed it in a more Americanized way, and that actually gave them more emotional range to play with. The CG was oppressive. It was everywhere and obvious. It made the live action look too cartoony, which is ironic because it's actually a live action cartoon. Yes, that is a funny thing to say, but One Piece, which had the same challenges, managed to make things just, Tim Burton enough to strike the right balance. One of the problems live-action animation faces is that the animated world integrates everything better, more seamlessly. The violence, the action, the magic, and the world itself looks of a kind because the animation has a style. Live action, well, I mean, it's cinema verite. The camera captures what it sees. In the case of Airbender, it's bad makeup and stiff performances. The wave after wave of Firebender NPCs all looked the same. I mean, that was understandable, but oh my God, so tiresome. Yet, all these complaints aside, it might actually have been the reason that so many of you people out there love it. I loved the Power Rangers because it was so bad. The Last Airbender is not a show without merit, but shows that feature magic just do not cut it for me. Like Wheel of Time, where it's endless arm waving, and I don't care how much effort the actors put into their flapping about, but it just gets deadly dull, dull, dull. If you compare it to Jackson's Lord of the Rings, there were all sorts of magical people, but the prestidigitation was kept to a shocking minimum in retrospect. And now I can see why. It would have made the rings boring as shit. The fight scene between Saruman and Gandalf was a highlight. I'm glad people like Airbender. I'm happy for the producers and actors that they will have a couple more years of work and paychecks out of their efforts, but I won't be watching it. However, at your friendly insistence, I will go and watch the animated version. Till next time, denizens, be seeing you. Choked on that.